patients from all over the world that come to one of our 12 locations throughout the US and UK. Facebook, this is Meytal and her beautiful baby. First, I want to thank you for taking your time out today to be a part of this Facebook Live. Good
Thank you.
morning,
Sure.
Meytal. Okay.
Yeah.
Meytal, can you
They,
please tell us your infertility story?
yeah, sure. So uh, after the birth of my son, who's now 6 years old, I had different complications. I had a placenta retention, where when a piece of the placenta is left inside after birth, and that led to a whole array of complications with an emergency operation to remove the piece and infection. And basically, in the first years of his life, I was in and out of hospitals all the way through. And as a result of this, a couple of years later, we started to try again. We wanted to have a second child, and after a while, it became very evident that something's not working well. So we started to run some tests, and then we found out that I have blocked fallopian tubes, which I was explained by the doctor happens oftentimes as a result of different operations or infections. So it would seem that the operation that we did, the emergency operations that took place, and the infection that happened after had a hand in blocking the tubes. So nothing moved around. No baby coming that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Did you try any other fertility treatments before you tried Clear Passage?
Actually, no, because with me, I'm also a dancer, and I've had a schedule of performances, and the solution that the doctor proposed to me was to do an operation, a laparoscopy operation, where they try to go in and manually open like manually where they try to open the fallopian tubes. And it seemed to me, honestly, it just seemed to me like a strange solution, since the whole problem started because of the operations and the complications that took place. And I understood also that oftentimes the adhesions take place as a result of operations. So,
Yes.
it could very easily happen again. And it seemed to me like a damage to create damage to a healthy body, when all it needs to do is to find a way to unblock, basically, the yeah the plumbing the plumbing
The plumbing.
situation there. And
Um,
and it took a while, honestly. I was really searching hard, and I'm so happy that I found you guys. It's been a life lesson for me.
right, right. Well, we're glad you found us also. So, how did you find Clear Passage?
Online, just online. I live very far from your clinic, and a bit in a different world, and it was really a privilege to be able to connect to you guys, to get to know Jessica, that coordinates the scheduling, that was such an angel and so helpful. And yeah,
Good,
but did
good.
I answer your question? I'm not so sure.
Yes, it did. It did. I just, I wanted to know, how did you find out about Clear Passage?
Yeah.
Speaking of Jessica, how was the conversations with Jessica? How was it with scheduling with Jessica? How did she handle that? And do you have any
Amazing.
recommendations for future clients on how to go about this?
Yeah, just contact Jessica. She's such it's yeah, such an angel. And I really had a feeling that also she's very upfront with me. She doesn't tell, and the fact that there's scientific research, along with the fact that she seems so upfront about the things that she feels that Clear Passage can do for me, as well as the things that it cannot do, potentially it could not do. So that was really relieving. And to hear her story, after 8 years of infertility, that she had her miracle baby, and going online and seeing all these babies was yeah, heartwarming and optimistic kind of.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy for you. Well, Facebook, before we go any further, I'd like to remind our viewers that we will have time for questions at the end of this um, Facebook Live. So please add any questions you have in the chat box, and either myself or Meytal will be able to answer those questions for you. So, can you give us your take on the treatment that you received at Clear Passage? How was your treatment?
Hmm. Indeed, I was wondering before I came, I was very curious how it would feel like and what would actually happen. It seemed to me a bit mysterious, this fact of opening adhesions in internal organs without entering the body through a work that resembles physiotherapy or myofascial release techniques. Because I think that maybe because I'm a dancer and I'm also a Feldenkrais teacher, and I'm always really fascinated by the body and what it can do. I was really blown away by how it actually works. I felt that there was something surprisingly gentle, even though the treatment, the fascia treatment, runs really, really deep. And I actually learned a lot from it as a dancer. I think it changed a lot of things for me in the way that I perceive the body also. So it was an eye-opening in that sense.
Wow, that's amazing. What was a typical day for you like at Clear Passage? I know, we treat 2 hours in the morning, then you get a break and you come back 2 hours in the afternoon. So how was that for you?
Yeah, it was nice because I have 6 years old and I came to Florida during the lockdown to do the treatments, which was a thing on its own, like to get, because Europeans were not even allowed to enter the US. So I have Jessica to thank for coordinating this, as well as a really nice clerk in the US Embassy in Brussels that gave me a special permission to enter the States. Anyway, but for me, it was kind of a vacation week, because in the lockdown with my son at home, hectic and full on, like a train all day long. So it was very peaceful, actually. It's kind of like a week of retreat, it felt like, and a really deep work. I came on a mission, so I did everything I could to listen to my body and to be connected, so that we kind of make this happen.
Awesome. That is great. That is wonderful to hear. So you had a baby girl.
Yes.
What's your baby girl's name?
Live. It
Liv.
means
I love that. That is beautiful. That is
yeah.
beautiful. We would love to see her. Are you comfortable showing her on Facebook to your friends?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll call my partner. I think he's also connected, so he should hear me. Let it come up, and let's see if he comes. If he doesn't, then I'll go downstairs.
Okay.
But her name means heart in Hebrew, the lion in Slavic languages.
Lion.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
So
that is very beautiful.
Yeah,
it is always
she's
so heartwarming when we get stories of, women that deal with infertility, how they, come back with their babies. And that's just so heartwarming. It just touches my heart that we are able to, not we, I guess I should say that our therapists, I'm just in the front office, but our therapists are able to just put their hands on patients and, here's baby Liv. How old is she now? And there's Liv's big brother. Hello.
There's the whole family.
Yes, a beautiful family, very beautiful. Congratulations to you all. So how is it with baby Liv now? How's the big brother doing?
יובי, שואלים מה שלומך, איך זה עם התינוקת החדשה בבית? זה כיף? Yes, he says it's fun. He likes it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All righty.
I'll be downstairs watching. Everybody, look.
You see
So,
what I mean?
yes, that's beautiful. Oh, look at her. She's beautiful. So, Martel,
I
how long
meant, I
after
meant the
therapy
noise.
did you conceive?
Sorry?
How long after therapy did you conceive?
2 weeks after.
Wow, that is great. Were you surprised that it only took 2 weeks?
I have to tell you that no, because I just knew it's gonna work when I came. I just knew. Like the minute I came back, I knew I'm gonna get pregnant the next month.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. And how was your pregnancy?
Yeah, it was incredible, and the delivery was also really, really incredible. I've read in some reviews of other women that had successful stories with clear passage that they also had an easier delivery. And I was kind of curious if this would be my story too, because I've had a difficult birth with my son who had to come out by vacuum, and so between clear passage and the work that I did after here, the birth was also really really smooth.
Awesome. That is great to hear. That is great to hear. So, what do you think of Clear Passage now, and what are your feelings?
That I'll be forever grateful, because I think that if there's women out there that are watching this live feed, this that are watching us now, I know how it feels. That are watching us now, I know how it feels like when everyone else around are getting pregnant and you really want to have a baby and it's just not working. And it seems that just in that moment, like everyone in the world are getting pregnant. You just all you see is pregnant women or babies or kids. לא נוכח? בואי תשוקה. את רוצה לנהוג? So sorry. So
Okay.
it was really. Oh, you disappeared. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was really incredible that this happened to us. Searching for something so I can breastfeed her and not like.
Oh, baby Liv is hungry, huh? I guess it is about time.
She
Oh,
has
she is
one position that
adorable.
she seems to be comfortable in, and there I can, I can carry more time maybe. Ah. Okay, got it.
All right. So, what would you like our viewers to know about Clear Passage?
Go for it. Don't try it. Try it first. It's true that it's not easy to make it happen. It's an investment financially for sure, but I think that it's a life change. And it's sorry, just a second.
That's okay.
Checking if she wants to eat. Maybe she can wait 15 minutes. Let's see. Let's test it if she'll really need to.
That is totally up to you.
Honestly, I think that this should be the standard form of treatment. And it seems to me insane that the solution that people are proposed is to do another operation when oftentimes the problem arises out of different complications that have to do with medical interventions. So not always, of course, but in some cases, or let's say if there is a way that is non-invasive, that is scientifically proved, and how is this not what people are offered first? I came back and I'm pretty diligent, so with doctors I speak my mind. I don't come and say yes sir to or yes ma'am to everything. And I came to my doctor, to my gynecologist, and I showed him the scientific research. And when I came back, I came happily to his office to tell him that I'm pregnant and to ask him to offer other women that might not be interested in the operation to offer them this kind of treatment. And he just he completely disregarded I think that it's just, Lily, could you come and pick her up a bit? I'm calling my partner to help out. I think it's a shame that that this is not what people are proposed. If it works, how come we're cutting people open instead?
Well, I'm not a physician. I'm not even a physical therapist, but I'm a firm believer that if you can do something that does not require being cut or being in the hospital, then I'm a firm believer in natural, and that's what Clear Passage does. It does a natural approach. It's a hands-on natural approach. So,
Yeah,
I mean, for you to say that, that's great. That is really great. And for you to stand on that and go back to your physician with that information, that's awesome. And hopefully, over time, and that's what we're trying to do, is get the word out about Clear Passage so people will know what we
yeah,
do and how we can treat women, and not only just infertility, but we also treat other conditions. So hopefully, getting the word out and you being, as vocal as you want to be, maybe that will help some people. And along the way, as we meet people, we can give them the information about Clear Passage and let them know that Clear Passage is out there. And we have other locations. We're not just in Gainesville, Florida. We have
of course.
11 locations throughout the US and the UK. So,
Yeah,
and that, that's important that some people can't travel. I mean, you came all the way from Belgium. You were
yeah,
determined, and that is wonderful. Especially during the lockdown, you were determined to come, and that showed
mm,
your persistence. Is there
yeah, and I think
anything else you'd like to tell our viewers about your infertility, journey before you had baby Lev? Anything you want to tell us?
yeah, I was just about to say that I think that for me, I learned a really, really important lesson from this experience is to do my own research and to because I received a certain information from my doctor that said that the only solution would be either a laparoscopy operation or IVF, and it's true that would be, you know, that is all that he knows. It's not that he acted out of bad intention, of course, but
Mhm.
it's just I think it's important to do our research. And I was also told by a doctor that delivered my son that I will not be able to give birth naturally unassisted because my son got stuck in the birth. And I think that after the experience of Clear Passage, I realized that I have to really test and check everything. Of course, listening to the science, but at the same time, trying to get the information that's out there that could
Mhm.
help me out.
Right.
And I started to work on releasing the ligaments that are pulling on my bone structure. And then I was able to deliver my baby girl at home in my living room with my
Wow.
midwife, completely unassisted, like with no medical intervention. Then after that, we like right after the birth, then I started to have a massive bleeding, and we needed to
Okay.
be rushed to the hospital because again I had a piece of the placenta that was left inside. My my midwife says that I'm her membrane lady, but I think that the experience this time also even in the hospital was very different. You know,
Mhm.
I was more informed, and yeah, and I stayed calm through it and just kind of sailed through it this time.
That
And
is awesome.
I think it has a lot to do with Suzette
Mm.
and Kirsten, the women, the incredible, you know, healers that are working there. So again, thank you. I really owe you guys my daughter, like
Mhm.
literally, but also I think a lot of really valuable lessons. Yeah,
That's
about
awesome. That is wonderful to hear. I'm pretty sure Kristen and Suzette would love to hear that. And
mm,
we just love to hear stories. We love to hear great stories. Okay. So we have a few questions from some viewers. So we're going to answer some questions. One of the first questions is said, did treatment hurt?
yeah. I was really wondering about this too. No, it just felt very intense, but it didn't
Mhm.
hurt. And I think I realized why. I was baffling with this question for a while because it seemed that the work is so deep that it would hurt. But actually, I had a feeling that they go very, very gradual. And because of the gradualness, the body seemed to have time to release and to allow this movement without, at least in my instance. But from my conversations with them, I had a feeling it's usually the case. So it didn't really hurt during the treatment, but afterwards, I definitely felt the area in that week, throughout the week. But that seemed to me like a really small price to pay. When I came back home, I barely felt anything.
Awesome. That is great. Okay, we have, does Clear Passage hear about success stories? I'll answer that. We do try to reach out to all of our patients after they have come here for services. Within a couple of weeks, we try to keep the door open so they can let us know how their journey is going, whether it's for infertility or small bowel. But we love to hear success stories. Like I said earlier, it warms my heart when I can hear of a woman that was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, so and she comes back and says, I got pregnant because I came to Clear Passage. That warms my heart, and I love those stories. We try to get them to either give us a story on our website, or if they would do a testimonial. We try to get that word out because I think that's a great form of advertisement for us, is that if they can hear directly from a patient what that patient went through and how grateful that patient is for being able to get pregnant naturally after they've had some complications in life where they have had problems and before. It says, how's the word spread? This is how we spread the word. We spread the word by doing the Facebook lives. We spread it by just putting testimonials on our website, by other patients reaching out and going to some of the support groups they have out there. That is how we try to spread the word. And it says, and what is it like for the therapists, office staff, and founders? We're grateful. We are so grateful and so happy to be able to do this. When I found Clear Passage almost 7 years ago, I had never heard of it, never heard of what they do here or anything. But over the past 7 years, I have learned new things about my body because I've had a little treatment here and there, not for infertility. I'm not wanting that, but I've had a little treatment for other things. And just to know what the founders have trained their therapists to do. I mean, all their therapists get the same training, regardless of what location they're in. They get the same training. They come to Gainesville. They get their hands on Larry Wern and Belinda Wern and other therapists and office staff. And just to know that they have that within their hands, how they helped you, that is just amazing to me, that something like this exists and that not more people know about it. And that's what we need to try to do, is get the word out that Clear Passage is here. And we're here to help people on their infertility journey. I mean, we have locations, the headquarters is here in Gainesville. We have locations in St. Louis, Missouri, Manhattan, New York, Rochester, Michigan, Dallas, Texas, Pasadena, California, Reno, Nevada, Encinitas, California, Oakland, California, and we have 2 locations in the UK, one in Canterbury and one in London. So you can reach out to Clear Passage at 352-336-1433. And you're going to speak to, someone here in the office in Gainesville, which is the headquarters. Jessica is in our scheduling team. And like you said earlier, she's a wonderful person. She has her own testimonial about treatment that she received here in her miracle baby. So if anybody's out there that needs any help, give Clear Passage a try. You can go to www.clearpassage.com or call the number I said earlier and reach out to us, and we'll do everything we can to help you. Meytal, is there anything else you would like us to know about your story or about your baby and your miracle?
Not that I can think of. Thank you, though, for having me. I'm really happy to be able to share this story, which is pretty miraculous.
We really appreciate you coming on this morning, all the way from Belgium. and how your journey got you here, and you have your baby girl. We appreciate you being one of our testimonials now, one of our success stories, someone that
Yeah.
can spread the word about Clear Passage. If there's anything you need, please reach out to us. Always know that we're here for you. We're here to help you in whatever capacity we can. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Michelle.
Thank you. Have a nice
Okay.
day there. And
Have a
hi to
great day with
everyone
the
in the office.
family. All righty.
Ciao.
Okay. Bye-bye.